This is Average Sports.
By your average guys.
Eric.
And Ty. That would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning into another episode
You're
of
listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
And we are back. Welcome to another episode of Average Sports with your average guys, Eric and Ty. What's up, Eric?
Hey, what's up, my friend?
That's how we do things.
You?
Yeah, it's episode 17 of season 4. Man, we are crushing this year. It is moving right along, and it is. I mean, we were talking about it, I think, in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, that we're like right on the head of the best time of the year for sports, and man, we're in the thick of it now. Like it's really now here. I'm loving it. It's great.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, October is arguably the best sports month in the year.
Yeah, you're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, we had the finish of baseball, obviously, the postseason, which is probably one of your favorite times for baseball, obviously.
It's exciting.
Mine and everyone else's. Then you end up with football is in full swing. We are 5 weeks in this year, and then NHL started last night. We had 2 games on the docket last night. The Kraken made their NHL debut
against
the Vegas Golden Knights. They did not win.
They didn't.
I think the score was 4-3.
Oh, that's cool.
4-3 or 5-4, something like that.
Right.
It's a West Coast game, man. I can only stay up so late.
Seriously.
And then Tampa got it felt like pretty routed by Pittsburgh. And their unveiling of the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Right.
They raised the banner last night in Tampa, and they got smoked.
Yeah, that'll happen
by Pittsburgh. So yeah, maybe they were looking ahead a little bit too much, but or just too much caught up in the emotion. So yeah, I mean that was a really great month. Good start. Basketball's coming too at the end of this month. So I mean, we're going to be in full swing of having every sport going on and starting back up in October.
Well, heck, man, even tonight as we record this, the U.S. was playing against Costa Rica for a qualifying game for 2022. I mean, the World Cup is now, like, within 8 months or so?
Yeah,
I think it starts
coming
in
up,
June.
man.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So I'm like,
and then we got the Winter Olympics in February, and then we got World Cup this.
Now I know you're just trying to get me excited, Eric.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
Man, let's do it. So before we do that, we have our new thing. Would you rather? Would you rather team up with Superman or Captain America?
Here we go. What does Captain America do again? Like, what does he do? He's got a shield.
Captain America's a super soldier.
Oh, okay. Does he fly?
Super soldier. He cannot fly.
Does he shoot lasers out of his eyes?
He does not shoot lasers out of his eyes.
Is he allergic to kryptonite?
He is not allergic to kryptonite like Superman.
Okay,
his kryptonite is not kryptonite.
I'll hang out with Captain America. I guess that will be all right.
Yeah, I think
there's less to go wrong.
I think I'm going to hang out with him too, because I just don't like Superman.
Okay,
Superman is not that good of a superhero.
He's overpowered to the max, man. He's got too much. He's
the
got
name
too much
is
going
terrible.
on for him. Yeah.
Okay, let's change it up then. What about Bruce Wayne? You hanging out with Bruce Wayne or Captain America?
What does Captain America's bankroll look like?
Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If we're going to bring that, okay, I'll change it. How about Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Batman? Okay. They both have bankrolls.
I feel like we're going through a tournament here.
Superheroes.
I mean, Iron Man's gadgets look more fun, right? He's got that flying suit.
The belt.
Who gives a crap about the belt? What's on that belt?
I don't
Some
know.
grunt wire?
Utility belt. Yeah. It changes every time.
Okay. All right, Eric, you hang out with Batman and
I'll go
me
hang
and
out
what's
with
his
Bruce.
face. Yeah,
That's
well,
fine.
all right. I'll Iron Man it up. Yeah. Okay.
All right, there we go. Okay, perfect. So let's get into the rest of this here. So obviously there is some big news that we do need to cover at least just a little bit here.
If you're a fan of football at all, you probably have already heard this headline, but it is at least worth noting. But Eric, I'm stealing your thunder, so you go ahead and take it away.
Oh, I was throwing it over to you, my friend.
Ooh, all right. Well, so as of Monday night, during Monday Night Football, and it was interesting that even the commentators were saying, like, well, ironically enough, because John Gruden himself was, of course, part of Monday Night Football for years and years, and before he got brought back into the league as a head coach and starting this year off, not to mention with a lot of success with the Vegas Raiders, everything seemed to be coming up Gruden, and now he's without a job. He got canceled.
He did,
but deservingly so. I mean, you exhibit a pattern of emails that are offending people, and it's like, well, you could do better. You could do better than this, especially over a decade long of doing this.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. I think that, the first emails came out and, it was obviously rather unacceptable, kind of tone and language to it. And you're like, okay, it's one email 10 years ago. Yeah, it definitely deserves some sort of
right. It's like one of those moments you go
having a conversation. You're like, okay, this is a little dicey. And you're
right.
like, okay, maybe it sounds like he may get by and just have a talking to and maybe a suspension or something coming, and then the rest of the emails got released by the New York Times, and this is all stemming from this Washington football team investigation that's been going on for years about how they're really just a terrible organization to their people, and this all came out from that because it came from one of their previous presidents, and Butch Allen, I think is his name. And anyway, so, I'm not surprised that as soon as those other ones came out and you kept reading a little bit more and the story was evolving, that you're like, oh, here it comes. And then, breaking news, Adam Schefter, you're like, well, there it is. Like, you didn't even have to know that that's what he was going to say, that's what he was going to say.
Right. What do you do about it? Like, you got to do better. And hopefully it's making an example of, like, you got to adapt. Like, that isn't the culture that you're in anymore, and learn from it. So anyway, you're going to see some changes, like keeping it more just geared to the sports itself, for the franchise, for the team, the Raiders. I mean, do you think this is going to shake them much? Is Carr going to come out and go, oh, I don't know anymore about this? Or do you think it's going to light a fire and, like, you know what? We're still a team and we can do anything, and we're going to come out and find some wins.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I've kind of thought that the Raiders were maybe not as good as they had appeared in the opening couple of weeks. I definitely think it affected them against Chicago, who is, in my opinion, a subpar team.
At the same time, you could argue that because John was still around, they had their coach that game also. It's like, this is a distraction. Like, maybe it's just
exactly, yeah.
Now that great, they severed it. Let's just
we'll have to
now
see.
that
we'll have to see. I do have some news here in just a second, kind of about that as far as one of my biggest surprises. But I think this is the first domino of potentially many to fall in this. About what else is going to be leaked from this Washington football team investigation. So that's all I got there. Otherwise, we're moving on. Let's go to the next thing here so we can keep pace here. So the biggest thing that I got kind of in the recent weeks, man, is the last place Chiefs in the AFC West.
Oh, it's wild.
We're going to cover this in a little bit when we get to Lightning standings. Hint, that's what's coming down the road.
Okay.
But the Chiefs are in last place in that division, and who in the world would have thought that?
Right. I mean, it's just, is it more of a story that the defense is just letting them down?
Their defense is atrocious.
That's just what it is.
I mean, I thought it was, kind of middle of the road, maybe subpar to that, but I mean, they are looking about as bad as you can look.
Right. If you
on the defensive side of the ball.
If you're to put things into context, let's put it this way. They have the most points in the AFC West scored. They have 154 points. The next is 142. The Raiders have only scored 113 points, and they're 3-2.
Yeah.
So, the Chiefs could have done, they could have a much better record. They could be undefeated if they were able to just put some stops up. But, I mean,
I would certainly agree. I think there's one team I think that definitely deserved to beat them, and they did. They absolutely shellacked them, and that was the Baltimore Ravens, which leads me to some of my biggest surprises through Week 5. And I'm specifically going to talk about 5 players here, and you tell me what they have in common. Ty, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. What do those 5 players have in common?
I don't know. They all throw the ball. They all sometimes run.
Do. Well, they all are quarterbacks. Yes, thank you. That is very.
They all
obvious.
play foosball.
Yeah, they are the top 5 passing leaders in the NFL this year.
Okay.
And who would have thought that Lamar Jackson
thank you.
would have been on that list?
I only say that because you question my I don't know, lack of faith in having the chance to draft Jackson or Kyler Murray. Jackson's the man. I mean, he's been on a rise.
And here's the thing. Lamar has been at it for a couple of years and never, ever been able to get anything successful done passing-wise. He's always been a dude that passes for, under 200 yards a game. That was his average, 179 or 189 yards a game. That's what he was averaging. And this year he's well over that. He's well into the 300s, which is that's game changing for someone with his kind of legs to go with it. But he is number 5 on this list at 1,519. Justin Herbert, 1,576. Matthew Stafford in Los Angeles. I think this is no surprise to anybody. He's always been a yardage dude, and then you give him Bobby Woods and Cooper Kupp, and he's just slinging it all over the place. He's just finally
in the right environment. I think those 2 franchises, the Rams and the Lions, have proven who's the better organization. It's not necessarily that they had any issues with quarterback, if this year is telling us anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek Carr. This is a big surprise to me. He's the second leading passer currently in the NFL at 1,605 yards. And then the good old plant man, the vegetarian.
The ageless? Yeah.
The ageless 44-year-old, I think.
I'm telling you, man, I'm about to go vegan
42.
myself. Yeah.
Tom Brady, 1,767 yards.
That's crazy.
I mean,
now, he's got to borrow a term from the old 2012 Cardinals, he's got a Ferrari to drive. I mean, he's got weapons
his
to pass to
Ferrari
all day.
Is Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, who looks like he's completely
He's the number 3 wide receiver.
Himself.
That's crazy.
They're all the number 3 wide receiver. They're all the number 1 wide receiver any given week.
Yeah.
And then of course he has Gronkowski there as well too as a tight end. I mean, they have an okay running game. Fournette's kind of stepped up this year, but I mean, they are an absolute dynamite team. He is clearly, for maybe a topic a different day, but he's clearly planted himself as a top quarterback in NFL history with what he's doing. Because they showed a stat. I can't remember what it was. I just remember kind of the context and where he was sitting of quarterbacks over 40 and their success. There were some that had success at like 40, a little bit of success at 41, and then that was it. Tom Brady is having momentous success at the age of 42 or 43, however old he is
no question. Now, out of the NFC, though, on the first place teams, you got the Cowboys at 4-1, you have the Packers at 4-1, the Buccaneers at 4-1, and Cardinals at 5-0. Who's the team to beat?
It's tough to say. I mean, I don't know how you can say that it's not Tampa Bay until they prove otherwise, because their run defense is so good. And they proved that against Dallas. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott that night looked awful. Now, I get it. It was a season opener, but since then, he has been exactly what you thought that he was in the past. And, Tampa, you can't run on Tampa. You've been able to pass on Tampa all day this year, but you can't run on them at all. And, it's got to be Tampa for me. Dallas is the real deal, though, man. That defense has really stepped up. Diggs is an absolute shutdown corner. He has 6 interceptions in 5 games. I mean, this dude is the real deal. And Dan Quinn has really turned that defense around very quickly. They're not an elite defense, but this defense is able to make plays and get turnovers and get the ball back in Dak's hands to be able to pass to his weapons. Arizona's surprising, although the last couple weeks they haven't looked as good, especially against Cleveland, although Cleveland is a very good defensive team. And then lastly, I have the Green Bay Packers out of those 4 teams. I just think they're the weakest out of those 4. Their defense is not overly impressive, and really their weapons are very limited compared to the other teams. That's not to say they can't get it done, because they are a good team. But, yeah, I would put them last out of those 4 in the NFC. So, yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, Eric. I was looking for kind of a short answer on that.